Kalira stood at the edge of the human base, her blue skin glowing softly under the artificial lights. Her silver eyes scanned the long hallway in front of her. She didn't feel nervous. Her kind did not believe in feelings. This was just a task, a mission. Her orders were clear: go to the human base, complete the reproduction agreement, and return. That was how her people did things: cold, efficient, no need for emotion. No time for comfort. She stepped inside. Her boots made soft clicks on the metal floor. Every human she passed stared at her. Some smiled. Some looked shocked. One even waved. Strange behavior, she thought. Why smile when you don't mean it? At the end of the hallway, a man waited. He was tall, with messy brown hair and soft green eyes. He wore a simple jacket and held a small bag. He smiled. You must be Kalira. I'm Jack. Kalira looked at him for a moment. Yes, I was told you are the human selected for procreation. Jack's smile faded a little, but he nodded. That's one way to say it. Kalira blinked. Is that not correct? No, it is, just maybe a bit too honest, Jack said, trying to laugh. Come on. I'll show you your room. He didn't try to touch her. He didn't stare at her body. He just walked ahead, calm and casual. This confused her. Back on her planet, males wasted. No time. They did the act, signed the papers, and left. That was the way. They reached a small room with 2 chairs, a table, and a bed. Jack placed the bag on the table. You can rest here. I got you some clothes too. More human style. But only if you want. Kalira looked at him. When will the task begin? Jack paused. His face looked serious now. We don't have to do anything right away, he said softly. Only if you're comfortable. Comfortable? That word meant little to her. Her people didn't ask. They ordered. Are you refusing? She asked. Jack shook his head. No, I just think it's better if we talk first. Get to know each other. A little, if that's okay. Talk? She repeated, confused. Yes, Jack said, smiling again. Like, where you're from, what you like, what you hate. You know, normal things. Kalira sat on the bed, still unsure. I do not feel anything toward you yet. Not like your people feel. But I am ready to do what must be done. Jack looked into her eyes. Kalira, you don't have to feel anything if you don't want to. But you also don't have to rush. I'm not here to take something. I'm here to share something. If you let me. That word again, let, he was asking. Not ordering. Kalira stared at him in silence. Back on her planet, she was a top female of the Joran caste. She had given life to 3 offspring already, all successful births. But none of the males had ever spoken to her after the task was complete. They left without looking back. But Jack, this human, was different. That night she lay on the bed, unable to sleep. Jack had left her alone. He said goodnight, offered her food, and gently shut the door. She could hear him through the wall, humming to himself. She didn't know why she kept thinking about his eyes, or the strange flutter she felt in her chest when he smiled. Kalira sat up. Was this fear or curiosity? The next morning, Jack knocked once before entering. He brought something in his hands, a gift, he said. It's a book, a human book about intimacy. Not the science part, the feeling part. Kalira took the book slowly. She had never been given a gift before. Why would I need this? Jack's voice was gentle. Because I want you to understand. That intimacy can be more than just a task. It can be something beautiful, beautiful. Another new word. Kalira stared down at the cover. The title read, Between Two Souls. I don't understand, she said honestly. Jack nodded. That's okay, you don't have to yet. I'll wait until you do. He smiled again and left the room. Kalira looked at the door. She held the book close without realizing why. Her heart beat just a little faster. Her mind felt busy, too busy. For the first time in her life, she didn't know what would happen next. And for some reason, that didn't scare her. It excited her. Kalira did not read the book that night. Instead, she sat by the window of her room, her silver eyes staring out into the artificial sky dome above the human base. A false sky, they called it. Painted stars, moving clouds, soft moonlight. Even their sky is fake, she whispered to herself. But what confused her most was the human called Jack. He did not act like a male, not the way she knew them. He laughed easily. He said please and thank you. He had not touched her once. And worst of all, he kept asking how she felt. No one had ever asked her that. So she began to watch him, quietly, from the hallway, from the cafeteria, from behind doorways. She didn't know why. Maybe it was because when she looked at him, her chest did that strange flutter again. Jack spent most of his time helping others. He helped the base mechanic fix a water pipe. He helped a young alien girl who fell and scraped her knees. He even helped an old robot clean the hallway. He smiled at everyone. But Kalira noticed something. His smile for others was polite. The smile he gave her was different, softer, warmer. Was it her imagination? Later that day, she entered the lab. Jack was working on a medical scanner, humming a human song. He didn't notice her at first. She stood silently behind him, watching. His hands. They were large but gentle. Every movement was slow and careful. Why do you sing while working? She asked suddenly. Jack jumped a little and turned. Whoa, Kalira, you scared me. I didn't mean to, she said. No, it's okay. He smiled. I guess I sing because it keeps me calm. Strange, she replied. You do not fear the task ahead, yet you sing like a child. Jack laughed softly. Well, I guess humans are strange. He wiped his hands and walked over. Did you read the book I gave you? She held it up. I began reading. It was confusing. Why do your people say, make love, when the act is physical? Jack looked into her eyes seriously. Because for us, it's not just about the body, it's about the heart. The heart pumps blood, she said. He chuckled. Yes, but for us, it's also where we believe feelings live. Love, joy, pain, all in here. He gently touched the center of his chest. Kalira frowned. That is inefficient, illogical. Maybe, Jack said. But maybe not everything in life needs logic. That night, she watched him again from her room. Jack was in the common room, helping another human with a broken hand. He bandaged it carefully, then made the person laugh. He wasn't doing it because of duty. He wanted to help. Kalira whispered to herself. Why does he care so much about people who are not his? In her world, no one cared unless they were forced to. But Jack did it freely. She went to sleep with the book on her chest. She didn't even notice her hand resting gently where Jack had touched his own. Next morning, Jack brought her tea. Warm, sweet. She had never tasted it before. It's for you, he said. It helps you feel relaxed. Kalira drank it slowly. She didn't want to admit she liked it. Jack sat beside her but didn't touch her. Kalira, do you really want to do this assignment? Or are you only here because of duty? She looked down. I was chosen. I didn't question it. He nodded. Would you like to try something else first? She narrowed her eyes. Something else? Jack smiled. Not the act, just touch. Simple, nothing more. Only if you agree. Kalira's voice was quiet. Touch? He reached out slowly and gently took her hand, just held it. She didn't pull away. She didn't understand why, but she didn't want to. The warmth in his hand was real. Not fake like the sky. Her heart fluttered again. She looked at their hands side by side. I feel something, she whispered, but I do not have words. Jack smiled. You don't need words. Just stay with that feeling. Kalira found herself standing in front of a mirror, not to check her uniform, not to adjust her hair. She didn't even know why she was there, but her hand was moving on its own, gently brushing over her cheek, over the spot where Jack had touched. Her hand yesterday. Her reflection looked strange to her. Her eyes seemed softer, her lips not as tight. Something inside her had changed, but what? She turned away quickly. She was not supposed to care about a touch. She was not supposed to feel warmth from holding hands. Her people would say this was weakness. She was a trained female of Joran society. She had given life. She had survived war. And now her heart raced from a human's hand? Impossible. And yet, it was happening. Later, that Kalira followed Jack again. But this time, she didn't hide. He was in the greenhouse, watering plants. Flowers bloomed under human-designed suns. She watched as Jack knelt near a small alien flower and smiled. He whispered to it, "You're doing great, little one." Kalira frowned. "It's a plant, it cannot hear you." Jack turned, surprised but smiling. "Maybe, but sometimes speaking kindly helps us too." "Helps? You?" She asked. "Yeah, when you speak with care, you start to feel it. Even if no one listens." Kalira looked at the flower. "In my world, flowers are removed when they grow poorly." Jack gently shook his head. "Here, we try to help them grow better." She stared at him. He was talking about plants. But somehow she felt he was speaking to her too. That evening Jack found Kalira sitting alone in the garden dome. Her hands were clenched on her lap. He sat beside her without a word. After a moment, she asked, "Why did you not touch me again today?" Jack blinked. "Did you want me to?" She hesitated. "I don't know, but I thought you would." Jack looked serious. "I don't want to touch you because it's expected. I only want to if you wanted to." Kalira looked down. Her voice was almost a whisper. "And if I wanted it?" "What does that mean?" Jack gave her time to think. Then he said, "That's up to you. Wanting something doesn't make you weak, Kalira. It makes you real." That night Kalira couldn't sleep. The feelings inside her were loud now. Loud and confusing. She remembered seeing Jack laughing with another woman earlier that day. Just laughter, but something in her stomach had twisted. She didn't understand. Why did it bother her? Was this jealousy? She had studied human emotions in training. But studying was not the same as feeling. She stood up and paced. "This is not part of the assignment," she muttered. "This is not logic." And yet, her hand once again found its way to her chest. Over the heart, she whispered to the empty room, "Jack, what have you done to me?" Next day Kalira finally asked him, direct, cold, just like her kind, "What do humans get from intimacy if not reproduction? Is it pleasure? Is it physical release?" Jack paused mid-sip of his tea. He looked at her carefully, then said, "We get connection, Kalira. We get to feel close, safe, seen." She tilted her head. "Seen? You are always seen. You have a body." Jack shook his head. "Not like that, I mean. Someone sees your soul, your truth, your fears, and they stay anyway." That sentence stayed in her mind for hours. She had never let anyone see her fears. No one had ever asked to. Cliffhanger ending for part 3. That night, she approached him slowly, carefully, and she said, "I still don't understand what I feel. But I want to. Show me, slowly, not the act, the connection." Jack took her hand again, just like before. But this time, she didn't just feel warmth. She felt safe. And for a warrior of Joran, that was more dangerous than any battle she had ever fought. Kalira didn't understand why her hands were shaking. She was a trained warrior, born to resist pain, fear, and weakness. She had faced battlefield storms, burning skies, and screaming childbirth. But tonight, standing outside Jack's quarters with her fingers curled into a tight fist, she felt more afraid than ever before. Not of danger, not of death, but of being seen. She raised her hand to knock. Then paused. What if she was wrong? What if what she was feeling wasn't real? But something deep inside whispered, "Go." She knocked once softly. Inside the room, Jack opened the door. His eyes widened in surprise. "Kalira, it's late. Are you okay?" She nodded once. Her voice was quiet, almost unsure. "May I come in?" He stepped back without a word. She entered slowly. The room smelled like wood and warmth. Soft music played in the background. A candle flickered on the desk. Kalira looked around. "It feels peaceful," Jack smiled. "I try to make it that way." She turned to him. "You said you would show me." His face grew serious. "Ah. You sure you want this?" Kalira didn't look away. "Yes, but not like how my people do it. I want your way." Jack gently reached out his hand. She didn't pull back. He touched her fingers lightly, then slid them between his. Their hands locked. Kalira gasped quietly. It was just skin on skin. But the warmth ran up her arm, into her chest, then deeper. No pain, no rush. Just connection. Her breath came faster. They sat together in silence. Jack didn't rush. He simply sat beside her. Their hands joined, his thumb softly brushing hers. Kalira studied their hands. "Why does this feel heavy?" she asked. Jack tilted his head. "Not heavy, real." She blinked. "I don't understand. You've never had someone touch you like this, right?" he asked. She shook her head. They only touched for function. For the task, no softness, no care. Jack looked into her eyes. "Then let this be your first real touch." He brought her hand up and placed it gently over his own heart. She felt it, his heartbeat, strong, steady. "Do you feel that?" he asked. "Yes," she whispered. "That's me, letting you in." Slow exploration. Keller reached up with her other hand, touching Jack's jaw. His skin was warm, rough in some spots, soft in others. No one had ever let her explore like this. Jack didn't move. He let her learn him inch by inch. When her fingertips brushed across his lips, he kissed them lightly. She froze. He waited. She did not pull back. Instead, she closed her eyes and leaned forward. Their lips met. Not wild, not hungry. Just soft, curious, honest. When they pulled apart, Kalira's chest rose and fell quickly. "I didn't know," she said, breathless, "that a kiss could feel like this." Jack smiled gently. "That's because this one meant something." Afterward, they lay side by side, still clothed, just holding each other. Her head rested against his shoulder. His hand ran slowly through her hair. No words, just warmth, trust. Kalira's thoughts raced. She didn't know what this meant. She didn't know where this was going. But for the first time in her life, she didn't want to leave. The message came as cold text across her data screen. "Return immediately. You are out of protocol." Kalira read it 3 times, but the words did not change. Out of protocol. That meant punishment. That meant she had been seen, watched. Worst of all, judged. Her people had warned her before she left. Do not form bonds with humans. Do not speak of emotion. Complete the task, then return. But she had broken all of that. She had kissed him. She had stayed. She had felt. Now her people knew, and they were calling her back. Inside the human base, Kalira stood in the hallway, the message still glowing on her screen. Jack saw her from across the hall. The moment their eyes met, he knew something was wrong. He hurried over. "Kalira, what happened?" She didn't speak. She simply handed him the screen. He read it slowly. His jaw tightened. "They're pulling you back," he said quietly. Kalira nodded. "They say I have failed the mission. That I've been contaminated." Jack's voice lowered. "By what? Kindness? Choice?" Kalira looked at him. Her voice cracked for the first time. "By you." Jack reached for her hand, but she stepped back. "I don't know what to do," she whispered. "They will strip my rank, take away my status, maybe even my children. His eyes widened. What? They gave me life, Jack. They can take it away. That night Kalira sat alone in the garden dome, her mind full of storms. The wind machines were off tonight. The world felt still. Too still. She clutched the human book he had given her on the first day, between two souls. The pages now had creases. Some were stained with tears she still refused to admit were hers. Jack found her there. He didn't say a word. He just sat beside her. Finally, Kalira spoke. When you first touched my hand, I thought it was weakness. Jack stayed quiet, but now, not touching you feels worse than any punishment they could give me. Jack turned to her. Then come with me. She looked at him sharply. What? Leave. With me, he said. We'll go off-grid. There are quiet settlements on the outer moons. No eyes, no orders. Kalira's heart pounded. Leave everything? My name? My caste? My world? Jack nodded. But you'll keep something better yourself. Asterisk, the first sign came in the night. A single light flickered in the hallway outside Jack's room. A low buzz followed. Then silence. Kalira opened her eyes instantly. That sound. She knew it too well. It was a Joran scout drone. Silent. Fast. Deadly. They had found her. She sat up in the dark and whispered, Jack, we have to leave now. 5 minutes later, the alarm blared across the human base. Security breach. Unidentified entry, but Kalira didn't need confirmation. Her people had sent hunters. Not to bring her home. To erase her. Joran law was clear. Any female who turned against her caste, who let emotions overrule duty, was marked for deletion. No court. No trial. Just silence. Escape through the service tunnels. Jack and Kalira ran through narrow metal tunnels beneath the base. Pipes hissed above their heads. Steam burned their arms. But they kept going. Behind them, soft footfalls echoed. Not loud, not rushing. Joran hunters didn't run. They stalked. Kalira grabbed Jack's arm. Faster, we must reach the supply dock. I set a ship aside. It's fueled, Jack panted. We just have to make it there. Kalira's voice dropped. They don't want to capture me, Jack. They want to erase me completely. I am now a dangerous example. Jack gritted his teeth. Then let's make sure they never find your trail again. At the docking bay, the ship was small, rusted, old tech. But it worked. As Kalira climbed inside. She paused. She looked back at the human base, the only place that had ever shown her gentleness. Then, at Jack, who had never once forced her to feel anything, but had made her feel everything. She whispered, I don't belong to them anymore. He climbed in beside her. You don't belong to one, not even me. But I hope you'll choose to stay. She didn't answer, but she reached out and took his hand. New moon, new life. Days passed. They landed on a quiet forest moon called Evran 9, where no government flags flew and no Joran laws reached. A peaceful place. But Kalira was not at peace. She trained in secret, always listening for shadows. She scanned the skies each morning. She kept her communicator off, afraid of signals. Jack tried to distract her, building a small home, planting alien seeds, bringing her rare human desserts. He never pushed, but he stayed close. Every night he sat by her side, no words, just presence. And slowly, the fear in her began to melt. Kalira stood on the soft grass of Evran 9's dawn-lit valley. The air smelled of rain and fresh leaves. She breathed deeply, feeling the quiet around her. Beside her, Jack watched the twin suns rise. His hand found hers, warm and steady. She smiled, a real smile, not the forced one from before. Her heart no longer raced with fear. It beat with hope. For the first time, she understood what it meant to choose. A new beginning. Kalira had come far from the cold halls of her people. From duty that crushed her spirit, she remembered the harsh words, You are contaminated. The threats, You must return. The hunters, You must be erased. But here, with Jack, she was no longer broken. She was whole. She had learned to feel joy, softness, and desire, not just for survival, but for pleasure. Teaching others. Weeks later, Kalira sent a message to her people, not begging, not pleading, but teaching. A simple message. There's more than duty. There is connection. There is love. Her words spread quietly across star systems. Others, like her, began to listen. She had become a voice for change. Love beyond worlds. Jack looked at her, eyes full of warmth. You changed everything, Kalira. She shook her head, laughing softly. No, you showed me. He pulled her close, and their lips met, not hurried, but full of promise. She whispered, I was sent to procreate, but I found something better. I found love. Jack smiled, holding her tight. From procreation to pleasure, to love. Final moment. As the suns climbed high, Kalira looked out at the new world before her, a world where she was free, where she could be herself, where love was not a task, but a choice. And with Jack by her side, she was ready for anything.